Welcome everyone to your weekly pick a card reading for Monday the 17th to Sunday the 23rd of October, or for whenever you come across this reading, as the messages are timeless. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that these messages resonate and they'll guide you in your week ahead. Okay everyone, we have pole number 1, pole number 2, pole number 3 and pole number 4. For pole number 1 we have citrine, for pole number 2 we have the snowflake obsidian, pole number 3 we have the amethyst, and pole number 4 we have the red jasper. So select a pole that you feel drawn to, just at random, by pole number or by crystal, and if you feel drawn to more than one pole, please go ahead and select more than one. I'm sure there'll be a message in each of them for you. Okay, pole number 1, let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. We have success. That's a nice way to start. We have overcoming obstacles. We have the bat spirit. We have the chariot, beautiful, and strength. And the 6 of cups. Let's just get that out of the way. Okay, pole number 1. Beautiful energies, all because of this rebirth. Let's have a look. So your first card is success, and the card says bloom wherever you are planted. I like that. In fact, I like that a lot, because you know, a plant, really wherever the seed falls, that's it for it. Of course, unless we then step in and transplant it, or you know, it gets eaten by a bird and then it might sort of end up somewhere else. But you know, they're very fixed. We're not. And this card, I feel, is at the same time drawing our attention to the fact that we aren't fixed. You know, we might be born in a country, we might be born into a family, but we don't always stay there, do we? We don't always stay where we were born, stay where we started. And success often signals that we have changed. Success, in order to get success, there has to be change, there has to be growth. And so with that in mind, the card also reminds us to be happy where we find ourselves now. So have your goals and dreams which might take you elsewhere, and generally goals and dreams do, because they wouldn't be a goal or a dream if they didn't take us someplace else or to a different understanding or a different way of being. So be yourself, pole number one. Be you, right where you find yourself right now. And especially if that's not where you want to be. So this can be not in the relationship you want to be in, not in the job you want to be in, not in the place you want to be in, the town, the country, the house, whatever it is for you, pole number one. And I get the feeling with this card, there's a sense of wanting to be elsewhere, wanting to be at the end result already. Success is assured, pole number one, but it's not yet. There's still a journey before you get to that success. There's still lessons, obstacles, understanding that needs to be gained before you can succeed. And there's almost a sense of being in the now and being happy in the now. Now, happy, when I mean happy, it doesn't mean ha ha ha, everything's great, and lying to yourself if it's not. I don't think that works. And I really believe that that's quite damaging, because it's almost like you're mocking what you're going through now. You know, by acknowledging that you're not where you want to be, that's honesty. Yet at the same time, accepting that you are where you are now, accepting that you are not where you may want to be, and accepting that there's still a journey in front of you. There's always a journey in front of us. Now, I really love that the Bat Spirit is here, because with the 5, it promises change. There is change coming. I feel, pole number one, like there's change all around you. And then Bat Spirit says a rebirth is assured. Now, a rebirth is a complete new beginning. And that can manifest in your life, pole number one, and generally you can be assured that it will. But a rebirth is you. So you are completely changing. Your beliefs, the way you see the world, who you surround yourself with, where you live. Now, for some of you, every aspect will play a part. Others, it might just play out in one area of your life. But even though it might just play out in one area of your life, because this is a rebirth, it will impact you. I want to, like, the word completely keeps coming to my mind, and totally. So this is profound change within you. So this can be core beliefs, this can be core values that change for you, pole number one. And then they have a kind of like a knock-on effect in your life. And your life will change because of that. So it's profound internal change. And that's what acceptance is. You know, the minute we accept who we are, where we are, there's a release. And then you have overcoming obstacles And the card says you can overcome anything. And I feel pole number one for you, this is what you're going to realize. This is what your rebirth is all about. It's knowing that when you are faced with a problem, with an obstacle, with a challenge, with a decision, you know that you will always be okay. And here it depicts like the sword in the stone, but there's also a pathway along a cliff, and there's the boulder in the middle of the way. I feel pole number one with the sword. The swords in tarot signify clarity, understanding. They're linked with your mind and your thoughts. And I feel that you're coming to understand, pole number one, that imagined problems are unsolvable. Physical problems that you find yourself in front of in the now are always surmountable. They're always solved. So what I mean by that, pole number one, is when you imagine obstacles along your journey, they will stop you in your tracks. But when you understand that you don't know what lies ahead, and you move forward and you find an obstacle, you will always overcome it. And this is what you're understanding, pole number one. And I get the feeling that the majority of you are kind of nodding your head going, I know exactly what you mean. There may be a few that are not quite there yet, and you might be going, I don't know what you're talking about. It's okay. If you find yourself going, I didn't get that, don't worry. Don't worry, pole number one. You will. You will. And if you did understand, if that did resonate right now with you, trust that. Because I feel, pole number one, there's just, you're letting go of worry. And what is worry? Worry is when we think about potential problems. And because it's a potential problem, it's not right in front of us, it's not actual, it's not yet in the physical world. There are so many different twists that imaginary scenario could have, that how do you find a solution to it? This is going to be a big part of your rebirth. And it sounds maybe so silly. It maybe sounds like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to worry less. Great. But with the Chariot and the Strength card here, pole number one, I don't think initially you'll understand how much just that understanding is going to change you, because it's not just an understanding. You know, we can read a book and understand it. It's a completely different thing to implement the strategies that might have been in the book, or the advice, the wisdom. But you will be pole number one. And it is going to change the course. And I believe For the majority of you at this stage, it's the course of where you see yourself going. So this can be, it's going to change the course of your dreams. It's going to change the course of your desires and your wants. It's going to change the course of how you see yourself in the future, where you see yourself in the future. You're going to gain so much more inner strength. Because worry takes energy. Worry takes time. You know, when we worry about something, we spend time on it. We think of 100 solutions. But when you no longer worry about the future, when you completely come to the realization that when an obstacle presents itself, you will always be able to deal with it. You have this inner courage, you have this inner strength, this inner wisdom. I see wisdom in this strength card today for you. You won't be battling yourself. You won't be, you know, when we worry, it's a sign that we don't trust that we have the situation in hand. We don't trust that we'll be able to figure it out as we go along, as the situations present themselves. And I feel with this strength card, there's so much trust, and not just for the universe. In this reading, pole number 1, I see you trust yourself. You believe in yourself. And I'm wondering, with the Chariot here as well, I'm wondering if in the past, pole number 1, you came to that understanding of trusting something bigger than you. So God, universe, source, spirit, trusting that you co-create with something. It's not just all on you. And I think that's an understanding that you had, and now you're realizing your own greatness in that co-creation. You've learned to trust source, but now you're learning to trust you. Because in this reading, I see the Chariot as aligned. I see you aligned on your path. I see you in a position of strength. And that's not that it's not over those around you. I see it as in you're the master of your life. And you finish with the 6 of Cups, and the card says, children or childhood, revisiting old dreams or plans, embracing your inner child, the return of people or romances from your past, romanticizing how things used to be. And I feel with this card, I feel you are revisiting old dreams, goals, plans, because I just think you no longer see them like you used to. I think you don't actually see a lot of things like you used to. And I feel as well, pole number 1, you're revisiting what you were told as a child. You revisit, this rebirth is making you look at, what do I believe in now? Perfect example is, as a child you might have been told money doesn't grow on trees, you have to work really hard to get anything. That's just a couple of examples off the top of my head. But do you still believe that? Is that a belief? And that's just an example. Please fill it in with beliefs that you find for yourself that apply to you. But look at those beliefs, pole number 1, and ask yourself, do they still resonate with me? Do I still want to believe that? Does that belief still serve me? I feel this rebirth as well is going to probably, even if you're not doing this intentionally, pole number 1, I feel this rebirth is actually healing the inner child within you. So if you feel drawn to do inner child work, please do. If you don't feel drawn to, please don't make yourself do anything. I feel that just in coming to this understanding, you're actually just going to heal it anyway. And it all starts with just acceptance of where you are now, pole number 1. Embracing where you are now, and just acceptance of you and what's around you now. Beautiful message, pole number 1. Love and light, my friends. Thank you again so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Welcome, pole number 2. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you for this week. We start off with radiance. We have ascending the mountain. We have the beautiful bee spirit. We have the magician, the 7 of swords, and the lovers. Beautiful. I love the major arcana in here. Okay, pole number 2. Let's have a look. Your first card is radiance, and the card says, keep your head held high and follow the sun. Isn't that beautiful? Just picturing a sunflower. It holds its head high, doesn't it? And it turns it. It follows the sun as it moves. And a sunflower is radiant. I mean, a sunflower stops you in your tracks. You can't miss it. I'm wondering, you know, we have expressions like busy bee and being as busy as a bee, and bees are busy. And the bee spirit card says sweet results await. And with this radiance card, I really am wondering, pole number 2, if you've been really working at something and maybe a little bit behind the scenes, or maybe with a project that you haven't launched yet, or you have launched but you haven't found your feet yet, or maybe you're looking for clients. I just feel there's a sense of you being seen this week. I just can't get the image of the sunflower out of my mind. And I feel there's going to be either some recognition for you, or there's going to be, you're just going to be seen, you're going to be noticed in some way. And I'm going to go on to the other cards, because then they kind of explain kind of what's going on here a little bit better. So the bee spirit, now the 7 is the number of spirituality. So the 7 is your intuition, it's wisdom, and it's the number of letting go and letting the universe, or letting God. And I get the feeling, pole number 2, that you've been working at something and the results haven't come in yet. But I don't get a sense of frustration. I don't get a sense of you wondering if this is all worth it. So it kind of makes me wonder if you're following your path, like your soul's path, and this is the soul calling, and you feel so drawn to do it that even though you've been working so diligently and the results haven't come in yet, don't feel that you're frustrated or fed up. I feel like you're happy to do the work. And there's a certain joy in it. You know, I'm getting the image of the bees and then just all these flowers. And, you know, I had the image of the sunflower earlier. And there's just a joy, you know, when you see a field of flowers, it's uplifting somehow. It makes you feel special for being able to see that. You know, there's something quite magical in how I'm feeling about these flowers and this bee spirit. And I just feel that there's a joy in you, pole number 2. Almost to come what may. I got the word fulfilled. Now I don't know if you're technically fulfilled because the results don't seem to have come in yet, but there is fulfillment in you in some way, and people can see that. The next card is Ascending the Mountain, and the card says keep going forward. And you are pole number 2. I feel this reading is Spirit's way of giving you acknowledgement on what you're doing and telling you that the way that you feel about this is correct. And it's that joy. It's that being fulfilled when outsiders might look at you and say, how can you be fulfilled? But you are on some very deep level. And I'm not saying, pole number 2, that you never complain or that you never do get a little bit like, oh, here we go, still nothing. Or, you know, you might, I mean, you're still human. So there's going to be days where we doubt or where we get down on ourselves, or we have doubts on what we're doing or trying to achieve. And I feel that this is Spirit just saying, don't doubt. If ever the doubts come up, and pole number 2, I think if they come up, I just feel like they're fleeting. I really feel like they're fleeting. Keep going. Sweet results await. And I don't feel that you're going to be waiting long at all. Now you have the Magician and the 7 of Swords. And I feel that even though it might not be showing in your reality at the moment, you're manifesting. You're manifesting in a big way. And it's funny because I'm not normally drawn to the numbers on the major arcanas, but today I am. I'm drawn to this one which is all about new beginnings. It's all about fresh energies. It's all about new opportunities. It's all about new goals. And the 1 also represents boldness. And I feel that's what the 7 of Swords represents. For me, it's been strategic. And in this reading, there's a sense of you are bold, pole number 2, to keep going at something when you may not be getting any results or the results that you want, and to keep persevering. That takes boldness, that takes courage, that takes belief and trust in yourself, and also in spirit. And I feel the Magician and the 7 of Swords is here because of this Radiance card. I feel that you're going to get noticed. Somebody may be already looking at what you're doing, and you just might not see it. And they might not have said anything yet, but you're definitely manifesting. And I feel that ascending the mountain means that, to me, it means keep going forward. Now, when you're ascending a mountain, the going gets a little bit harder. You know, it's easier to walk on flat ground than it is to start going up a hill. So you might come across, I don't feel that there's difficulties or obstacles. I'm wondering if you're putting more on your plate. I'm wondering if you're doing more or trying new things. That's what this is. This is having a plan, seeing what's lacking, seeing, you know, what the others are not doing. You know, I always find with this card, I'm always drawn to here's a group of people and they're probably talking about doing something, but you're actually out there doing it. You're not taking more than you need. You're not taking things away from others. You're seeing opportunities. Now this one, it's new opportunities. You're seeing those opportunities and you're going for it. And that's where this ascending the mountain probably comes in, is that you're changing things. You're looking at how you might tweak what you're doing. And there's no fear here, pole number 2. There's no doubt. There's no fear. There's no lack. And this Radiance card, I'm so drawn to it. Keep your head held high and follow the sun. I just had another message come in. Could these people be talking about you? They and possibly can't see what you're doing. They possibly can't understand what you're doing. So, you know, sometimes when we're met with people that don't understand, you know, we can bow our head and kind of go, oh, am I being silly? Spirit saying, no, you're following the sun. Hold your head high. Look at the yellows in these cards. Even the bee spirit with the golds in it. You know, and it's almost like the sun's going to come up behind the mountain. There is so much, pole number 2, for you to strive for. And when I say strive, I don't even mean like dig your heels in and go, go, go. This is continue on the path that you're on. You'll be tweaking a few things, I think. You'll be reevaluating, you'll be changing things, but don't change them because of what others might be saying. Change them because your thoughts, your ideas have changed. Because you're ascending the mountain, your viewpoint is going to change. Your perspective on something is going to change. And then you have the Lovers, and the card says, embrace true love and deep, intimate friendships. Make choices from the heart, vibrant health or recovery from an illness. And I think that's what you're doing. You're following your heart. This is heartfelt. This is your soul. This is your heart and soul. A lot of people picture them the same. Your heart is your physical, in the physical realm, and your soul isn't, but they're connected. Well, your soul talks through your heart, doesn't it? And I feel this is your heart guiding you. Because there's a joy in this reading, pole number 2, that is, I want to say, in spite of everything. In this reading, the Lovers, for me, for you, is just the love of what you're doing. And I feel, pole number 2, that in doing this, in following, this is following your dream, pole number 2. I feel there's like that's opening up your love to yourself. Every time you achieve something, every time you get a little win, and it doesn't, I don't believe at the moment it's coming from others. It's coming from you and seeing just purely what you are achieving, what obstacle you've overcome within yourself in order to move forward and keep going. That is growing your self-love, your self-acceptance. And it's really spurring you on. And I feel that you feel this mountain coming, or that you might already be on it. I feel that you feel this. I don't feel, pole number 2, that you have your head buried in the sand somewhere and you're just la 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 la, I'm going to do whatever I want to do and too bad for the consequences. I don't feel it's that energy at all. And you might not be able to explain to others what you're trying to do, but you in yourself know what you're trying to do. And there's no reluctance here. There's no, oh, here we go. I've just got to get past this point and then I'll be okay. There's not, it's, thank you. Pole number 2, you're enjoying the journey. And others might think you're crazy, because to them it doesn't look like much of a journey. And that's fine, because they're not you, so they can't understand it. They can't feel what you're feeling. It's this journey is yours and you know it. And you're just moving forward on it. You're just embracing it. I just feel that you can't guarantee the end result. You can't guarantee exactly where you will end up. But you're just filled with so much joy and love for this that it doesn't matter. You're enjoying the journey. You're accepting the journey. And I feel you're making the best of it. And that's why you're going to get sweet results, because you are sweet in this. I'm going to leave you with those messages, pole number 2. Love and light, my friends. Thank you again so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Welcome, pole number 3. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. So you have rest, finding sanctuary, Turkey Spirit. You have the King of Pentacles, the Hermit, and the 7 of Wands. Okay, wow. Okay, pole number 3, I don't know what you've been doing, but Spirit is saying stop. Stop, my friends, stop. Stop. As much as you can, whatever you can. Okay, so your first card is rest, and the card says slow down. You don't have to solve everything today. I actually got the words mind reset. That's a little bit odd. But what it means is I feel that you need a complete mind reset, pole number 3. So what does that mean? That means slowing down. That means, are you trying to make everything happen in your head? Are you worrying about everything in your head? Are you planning every situation foreseeable in your head? I even want to ask you, are you planning for 10, 20 years in the future? I just see something way off in the future, and it is so far, far away that I just see that there's something in the future, but I can't see what that is. When we get caught up in the doing, pole number 3, there's nothing wrong with that. We must do in this reality. If not, nothing would materialize. So doing is a very big part of our everyday life. But when we just do, it's almost like we're on this treadmill. And you just keep going, and then you find that you almost get into this false sense of security, because we trick ourselves to think that while I'm in motion, while I'm doing stuff, I'm being productive. I'm moving ahead, I'm solving problems, I'm getting myself organized. Now, to a certain extent, of course, that's true. But there must be periods of rest. There must be periods where we slow down and we kind of hit the mute button, the stop button, the pause button. Because when we physically get caught up in doing, our mind doesn't stop. We often think, well, if I just do more, my mind will be quiet because I'm so caught up on what I'm doing. But it just plays in the background. And it gets more chaotic because you're not paying attention to it. So while you're busy doing, it's just going crazy. Because you're not being aware of it. You're not acknowledging it. You may find that your emotions at the moment, pole number 3, are all over the place. That's why. We have Turkey Spirit, and it says, give with gratitude and grace. Now, I love this because initially you might feel like, well, the card says give, so I've got to give, I've got to do. But it says with gratitude and grace. That's not just flinging things about and getting things done. That's giving, that's doing mindfully. Now, when you're graceful, you're not rushing around. You know, part of being graceful is that gentle, slowed down movement. Gratitude is about acknowledging everything that you're doing, seeing everything that's around you. And I feel the Turkey Spirits here, pole number 3, for you to remind you that rather than doing just for the sake of doing, are you even aware of what you're doing? In this reading, pole number 3, I almost get this card like the sense of it's not a particular saying that I actually like very much, but it popped into my head, so I'm going to say it. But it's work smarter, not harder. So for some of you that might apply, where you know you're multitasking instead of just doing one thing at a time and then doing it thoroughly, doing it properly. And again, this can apply in any area of your life. And I feel it is applying in your external world, because I find you've got Find Sanctuary and you've got the Tower, which is an outside building. So I'm looking at that as the outside world. And then you've got the Hermit, which is very much the internal world. So I feel that it's definitely happening inside for all of you, because that's where everything starts. But it's starting to manifest out in your world. The next card is Finding Sanctuary, and the card says opening to your spiritual source. And I find this card interesting that it's a tower, because you know we often say, oh, we shouldn't build towers that we hide behind. We build walls around us. And I'm wondering if that's maybe what some of you have done. Rather than seeking solitude and opening in that solitude to your spiritual awakening, I'm wondering if some of you have built a tower around yourself for protection, so you can keep doing. there's a sense of self-defense here. So there's a sense of not feeling safe. And that just can be of worry. You're worrying about everything. And so you feel unsafe. You feel like at any moment there could be a problem that you won't be able to solve. So it's in this rest, it's in the slowing down that you can open to wisdom that comes from within you, understanding that comes from within you, where you can start to let go, you can start to see what's driving you. But I feel that there's an opening that's required. And I think there's a great need of finding sanctuary, of finding moments where you can just breathe out, not push so hard. Because you've got the Hermit and the Seven of Wands. Now, the Hermit holds the star, and that's his guiding light. But he doesn't need to see far in front of him because all his work's internal. And I'm wondering, pole number 3, if some of you are really battling with this Seven of Wands to find any peace for yourself. Now, we are responsible for our lives. So somehow, if you find yourself in that situation, pole number 3, there's no point beating yourself up. There's no point thinking, I failed somehow. It's just have a look at how have you set up your life for you to have no moments of peace. Have you simply maybe just never asked for it? You know, we have a lot of demands on us, family, work, friends, relationships, partners, you know, day-to-day life. But we have to be strong enough to say, the next half an hour is mine. Nothing's going to happen in half an hour. Or do you think that if you do clock off, do you feel that something bad might happen? Because pole number 3, somehow this is internal work. This is about somewhere along the lines that your beliefs, or the way you are doing things, and the way we do things in the world is a reflection of what we believe inside of us, what we think about ourselves and about the world. And with the Rest card, with it saying slow down, you don't have to solve everything today. Do you feel in some way, shape or form that if you clock off, if you take half an hour, 10 minutes, whatever it is, do you feel that that will have negative repercussions for yourself and those around you? And you finish with the King of Pentacles, and the card says compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, grounded, a time of great success, financial security and prosperity, the Midas touch, everything turning out beautifully, a supportive partner and spouse, a good person to work for. And I kind of get the feeling from Spirit that this is you. You are all things to all people, but you maybe haven't allowed others to be anything for you. And when I mean anything, I mean, do you relinquish control to them? The King of Pentacles, he can be very traditional. He likes to do things the way, the status quo kind of thing. And with this energy here, it doesn't matter if you're male or female, it's just the energy. But with this energy, I feel that you have carried on your life in a certain way, that maybe you had the energy in the past, maybe you had the resources, maybe you had the desire to set your life up like that. It doesn't really matter why it's been done, but I just feel that for you, pole number 3, that way of doing things, that way of being, the way that you've set your life up, doesn't serve you anymore. And that's not me saying that to you, that's you saying that to you. You are now finding that this life is costing you. This life is taking it out of you. This life is making you struggle more than I think you're starting to believe that you need to. And this is, the Hermit is often an awakening. The Hermit is when we do our internal work. The Hermit is associated with wisdom and understanding. And he goes within so he can gain that clarity. So the Hermit energy is really slow. The King of Pentacles, his energy is slow. Rest, slow down. And then you've got this 7 of Wands. And this is frantic. This person has put 2 different pairs of shoes on. That's how much in a hurry they were. They're not focused. They're not paying attention. They're just doing. And I feel that you almost feel like you have no choice, pole number 3. But with the cards that you have, it's saying you do. It takes reorganizing. It will definitely take reorganizing. And first of all, it's reorganizing you, how you see you have to do things. There's an understanding in you that's changing, pole number 3, and that's going to create this in your life, this need to just rest. And you might just find that suddenly you're tired and you just can't understand it, because normally you've got so much energy to get through your day, and you're just going to find that by the end of the day you're really struggling. That's just Spirit trying to slow you down. Please, please listen, pole number 3. slow down as much as you can. Like I said, if it's just half an hour a day, that's half an hour more than you had yesterday. I almost feel, pole number 3, that you have to prove to yourself that everything's okay. If you take a break, everything will be okay. There's some real nurturing that you need to give yourself, pole number 3, love and nurturing. I'm going to leave you with those messages, my friends. Love and light. Thank you so much again for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Welcome, pole number 4. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you. We have opportunity. We have fellow travelers. Beautiful. We have the white raven spirit. We have the hanged man. We have the 8 of wands. And we have the 5 of pentacles. Interesting. Okay, so we start off with opportunity, and the card says there's no use looking for luck. It arrives at unexpected times. Well, that explains this 5 of pentacles in this reading that to me didn't fit in at all. And that's true, isn't it? You know, opportunity comes a knocking when it comes a knocking. All you have to do is be prepared for it. Do you believe that you have opportunities, pole number 4? Do you believe that there are opportunities in this world for you? What opportunities would you like? I feel there's a few questions that Spirit wants you to ask yourself. Because I feel that you have been asking for something. And it hasn't arrived yet, and I feel maybe you might be doubting. And, you know, I see this message as Spirit saying, all in good time. All in good time. There's no use looking for luck. It arrives at unexpected times. Kind of had just the thought that came through my head of my luck's run out. That's quite precise, but I wonder if some of you have been saying that or feeling that your luck has run out. Spirits here, the messages here are saying luck is not finite. You don't have a certain number of opportunities, and once they're gone forever. It doesn't work like that. This is the opportunity card, and there's opportunities there. So pole number 4, for some of you, I feel you're not seeing the opportunities, and I get that a bit from the Hanged Man and from the 5 of Pentacles. And some of you, I feel you just don't think there's going to be any. And that brings us to the White Raven Spirit, and it says trust in the magic. Do you see magic in the world? And I don't mean like magic tricks but do you see magic in synchronicities? Magic in that chance meeting? Magic in how sometimes you'll think about somebody and then they'll call you? There's magic around you, pole number 4. And I feel that you know that. I'm really getting the feeling that you know that, but for some reason there's doubts. You've hit maybe a fork in the road and you're just like, oh, I just got a sense that you almost felt like you were back where you started. It's almost like I see this fork in the road, and it's almost like you've been at this fork before, where you've made a decision and it's brought you back almost to the same point where you've got to make almost the same decision again. I'm wondering if some of you can't. I'm wondering if you can feel the fork in the road, but you just can't see what your choices are. Because there's a sense of trusting in the divine timing of these opportunities, trusting in the magic. You've got the fellow travelers as well, and it says support is all around you. And I'm wondering if, like, I'm looking at this 8 of Wands and I'm wondering if things haven't aligned yet for you, pole number 4. Don't be sad. Don't be discouraged. Don't feel like you've been forgotten. You've been left out in the cold, and the path that you thought you were being led on, and like I'm feeling here like the path where you thought you were following your soul's calling, you feel it's come to a dead end. And now you're, well, do I go back? Like there's nothing. But I feel like with the angel there, I feel that's how you're feeling, but this is your reality. That's how you're feeling. You know, they're very, very different. That's a corner. There's windows, okay, but they don't open. There's no doors. Your only option is to go back the way you came. So that's how you feel. But the fellow travelers, this is the reality. So there's trust, and the hangman can be gaining new insights, looking at things from a different perspective, clarity, enlightenment. And I feel that's this journey, pole number 4. So the opportunity is not the journey. The journey is understanding how we can feel one way, which makes us see one way, but in actual fact, the reality of it is completely different. So, fellow travelers, support is all around you. Now this is, like I said earlier, things have to align. This is people coming in to help you on your journey. This is you gaining clarity and understanding about your journey, about yourself. So this is completely understandable, pole number 4. Please don't get annoyed at yourself for how you might be feeling. I'm going to jump directly to the 5 of Pentacles. The card says, negative thoughts manifesting into real challenges, fears surrounding money, reach out to others for assistance, poor timing for becoming self-employed. Now in your reading, pole number 4 today, I really feel that this is how you are feeling. And normally the emotions is your cups, but it's just how I'm reading this, and I'm really I don't know if that'll focus enough, but the angel's holding her head, almost like he's giving her a scalp massage kind of thing, or just, you know, healing on her head, you know, hands on her head. And I feel like almost like he's trying to calm her mind. The Pentacles is our reality. The Pentacles, it always represents the 3D world, what is tangible. Yet in your reading, pole number 4, I'm seeing that there's a discrepancy between what your mind is telling you and what is actual fact in this world. And you might be thinking now, saying, well, no, this is what my life doesn't look like that. My life looks like this. And it will, because pole number 4, our perspective of things influences how we see everything. Two people can look at exactly the same situation and they can come away from it with two completely conflicting ideas on that exact same situation, but they've come at it with completely different viewpoints. So of course, when you feel like this and you think like this, your world to you is going to look like this. But Spirit is saying, no, trust, because there's magic. Things are aligning for you. Your path is still ahead of you. It's not a dead end. And you've got the Hanged Man and the 8 of Wands. Now the 8 of Wands is fast energy, like it signifies, it's like the minor arcana for the Chariot in the major arcana. So this is fast, this is things coming in fast. Right next to the Hanged Man, that's lightning insight. That's messages coming through that change everything for you, that give you a new perspective, that give you a new understanding. Things are lining up for you. Now this can be people lining up for you. I love how this is sort of heading straight into the 5 of Pentacles. And then when that hits, you're here. You're going to see this. You're going to look up and you're going to see this. And this is, I mean, she's sitting, there's no forward energy in this. And the universe might have put you in that position. The Hanged Man's the major arcana. It might have slowed you down in some way, so that you can stop and have a look at things. Maybe it needs you to slow down and stop so these things can catch up with you. And sometimes we need to stop so we see them. We see the opportunities when they come in. And you will, pole number 4, you will. Because I feel that this is, there's either something that's just happened in your life that has made you doubt about your journey. Maybe something others said, maybe just it hasn't come about as fast as you thought it would. Maybe you gave yourself a deadline and the deadline's come and gone. But, you know, deadlines, you know, we have to be careful with deadlines because we're not in it alone. You can give yourself a deadline, but if you have to wait for others, which we're all connected, so we're always co-creating with spirit, but we're co-creating with others as well, aren't we? You know, like if you start a new business, I'll give you an example, poll number 4, just to make it a little bit more concrete. If you start a business, you might give yourself a deadline of, okay, then I'm giving myself 3 months. If I haven't made this by 3 months, that's it. I'm just going to give it up and I'm going to go back to my 9-to-5 job. But what if your clientele in 3 months is not quite there yet? What if you haven't given them time to align? Do you see how that works? And how deadlines, if it's just us, it can be really good motivators, but when others are involved, and the majority of the time there's always somebody or something else involved, what initially started off as setting a deadline to motivate us can actually end up being what makes us give up. You're not going to poll number 4. You'll think about it. I think that a lot of you will think about it. But I don't believe you will, because there's a certain level of understanding in you. And I don't really think you're ready to give up. I don't feel that you're ready to kind of go, okay, you know what? I'm going to try something new. I don't think you're there yet at all, poll number 4. I feel that you're still really engaged in this. You're still committed to this path. And that's a good thing, because things are coming in. This is just a moment. And these moments can last, you know, weeks, months. Then it doesn't mean it's just an hour and you're going to feel fine afterwards. No, this takes work to overcome. This is caused by our fears. And when we doubt ourselves, when we doubt and we don't trust. And that's part of being human, poll number 4. There's nothing extraordinary in that. That's how we are. But if we can understand that, if you can understand that and go, you know what? I'm just going to slow down. I'm going to allow things to catch up with me. I'm going to give myself more time. I'm going to look at where these doubts, these fears are coming from. I'm going to work on that, because this is spiritual work. And then I feel like you're going to reset. And these opportunities, they're coming in fast. This is those opportunities coming in fast. This is messages or information that changes everything for you. That gets you out of this 5 of Pentacles and back into this kind of, I'm on my path. And remember, there's fellow travelers. Support is all around you. Here, you just don't see it. And that's fine. You will. You will. Trust in you, poll number 4, and in spirit. Trust. It'll be so interesting to see what unfolds for you, what comes in for you. I'm going to leave you with those messages. Love and light, my friends. Thank you again so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.